Good Friday afternoon to you, and welcome to our Chef Showplace. My name is Pam Smith. It's my delight to welcome you here and to host you through these next 45 minutes of deliciousness. Deliciousness because we have Chef Jerome Brown, which we love as Chef Rome, who is here in the house to bring his special passion and his gifting and his skills to really show it what it is to be a chef to the stars, because that's exactly who Chef Rome is. He's a chef to the stars, be them celebrities in any realm, celebrity athletes, basketball players, you name it. He has really shown them what it is to have private chefs that can not only meet their nutritional needs and their performance needs, but do it with just really, really fantastic food. So we're going to talk about that. Chef Rome's become kind of a prolific author. He has one book. We'll be talking about it. Another one in the works, soon to come out. So we'll be talking about that too. And you may have seen him more than once or twice on TV, really doing some extreme chefing. We always have fun times talking about that stories. He's got great new shows in the works too. What I can guarantee you is, again, when Chef Rome is in the house, good food is in the house. You have a glass of a festival Cabernet Sauvignon that's being served to you. It's our 20th year celebration of the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. So high time to do a festival wine in honor of that 20-year celebration. Cabernet Sauvignon, the grapes are sourced from the central coast of California, Paso Robles. You'll find the wine to be very bright fruit, very bright berries, which should be quite a nice pairing with the elk that Chef Rome is going to be preparing for us. A little touch of smoke, little touch of spice, which again should bring out all of the accompaniments that are going to come with the elk as well. As it comes to you, you can't help but take a little bit of a sip, but my encouragement is to try to save a sip so that when the dish is served to you, you'll have an opportunity to taste it together with the elk itself. Again, you've got a recipe in front of you, bacon wrapped barbecue elk tenderloin over sauteed baby bok choy, garlic mashed potatoes. There's a whole lot going on this plate, and there's going to be a whole lot going on this dish. Chef Rome, I just love the fact that he's doing a little bit of barbecue because he grew up in North Carolina, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. We'll talk a little bit about his family, but got his inspiration in a barbecue restaurant when he was really young, saw the passion, had the fire, and kind of really amazed his family and friends with what he wanted to do. He actually came to Disney for a period of time working in our culinary team. So it was so exciting. About 5 years ago, when he came back to the Food and Wine Festival, it was kind of a homecoming. So we're always excited when he's here. So with that, how about a huge food and wine welcome for Chef Rome, Jerome Brown. Woohoo!
Disney! Well, I'm back.
You're back. I know, and we're excited. Am I right? Did you come back about 5 years ago to start the Food and Wine Festival again?
That's
yes.
right. It's my 5th year.
Unbelievable. In our 20th, so.
Wow.
I know.
How
Very
cool is
exciting.
that?
It's super cool. So you're involved in a whole lot of stuff, my friend.
Yeah.
You're one of the busiest guys I know.
Some of the stuff you were talking about, I forgot I actually did.
Oh, really? Well, like the Extreme Chef.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Did any of you see that show? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I try to forget that part.
I bet. Well, you almost died.
You almost drowned.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
You're here.
I'm good.
You're good. You're good. You're good. No,
Someone put
very
online,
fun.
that's the chef that forgot he couldn't swim.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I really can't swim.
Yeah, but they took them out into the middle of nowhere. I mean, literally to cook, and it was almost like a twist of a chef meets survival. It was
Yeah,
a little
crazy.
scary.
Yeah. You know, and the funny part about it, little part of the people, a lot of people don't know, that lake is actually the lake from the Andy Griffith Show. You know, Opie's throwing the rocks in the water.
Mayberry?
Yeah.
Really?
It's actually in Franklin Canyon, up in Beverly Hills, up in the mountains.
Really?
How cool is that, right?
I did not know.
Yeah.
And you
I was
almost,
mad with Opie that day, though.
I bet you were mad at Opie. He did not tell you the truth. I know.
I thought it was just a little Finley Lake.
Yeah, wow. Not so much. Not so much. But you do have a lot of fun things cooking, if
Yes.
you will.
Yes.
So some new shows in the work that I know we
Yes.
won't talk about yet.
Yes.
But tell us about the new book you're working on.
So, as this living legend here, first of all, give her a round of applause.
Oh, thank you.
I look forward to seeing her every year when I come back to Disney. I don't want to come back if she's not here.
Okay, I like
So-
that. Yeah, write that into your contract.
Let's see if we can get Disney to go for that one.
Exactly.
So the new book is going to be called, unless the publisher changes it, Carolina Soul.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. See, my
Yeah.
grandmother had 23 children. Ladies, can you imagine that?
No.
I can't imagine
No.
feeding them all.
Well, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
know.
One man, one woman. And my grandparents were sharecroppers. They were on the farm, and they raised cows, they raised pigs, and had dogs running everywhere, and little chickens, and all of that. We had a real farm. And I would come and watch them work in the tobacco field, and I would steal my grandfather's tobacco sticks and make little houses or something I was trying to do. And for me, that was the original experience of farm to table. When you would kill a pig or a hog, we used to call it,
Yeah,
depending if they were really big,
Yes.
and take it in there, and they clean it out, gut it out, and they use everything from hog head cheese to chitlins and ham and you name it.
Little did you know that was going to become hip and happening, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny. A couple of years ago, I was around the corner from the White House at this wonderful restaurant, 5-star Michelin star restaurant, and I was surprised when they had pig feet on the menu, roasted pig feet,
You're right.
and they were charging $50 for some doggone pig feet. $50 for pig feet? I said, man, I could go to North Carolina's Piggly Wiggly grocery store and get this for $2 and some change a pack.
Yeah, exactly.
So either way,
Little saltine crackers,
Well,
and you
yeah.
got it good. Yes.
yeah, a little vinegar. Not pickled
awesome.
though.
No.
So that was my original experience. Getting fresh milk from the cow and real eggs from the chickens and not without the process. you
Right,
know. So
right.
everything is so microwave, so quick, so processed now. And that was just such a wonderful experience. And I lean on that right now to this day with my cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love that. I
yeah.
love that. And you know what you do, and I see it through all of your recipes, is you take some of those heritage recipes from your grandma, from your family, from the Carolina Soul.
right.
But you give it that Chef Rome twist. You kind of
Absolutely.
take it up a notch.
Yes.
But you still don't ever sacrifice the flavor. You just might get at that flavor a
That's
little
right.
differently.
Absolutely. For me personally, especially with cooking for the NBA players and anyone for that matter, I don't want to kill you. Right?
Right.
That
No.
might not work out very well for anybody.
Not
so,
for your career, right?
No,
Yes.
not at all. And that's the thing, because things have become so processed, we have to really lean on doing things a little differently. So I may not put the fat back or the smoky ham hocks, and I may use smoked turkey. Right?
Right.
Or I may use, some other type of rich
Smoked paprika.
Yeah,
yes,
anything.
to
Something
get that same experience.
Exactly, to give you the same experience. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
No, I
And
love it.
We've learned the tricks of the trade in the culinary world. I love that the Food Network and other channels are really showing people how to do things to enrich their own cooking experiences at home, in their own kitchens. I love that. I love that. And America and the rest of the world has really grown in that regard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I meet home cooks now that really challenge me. They come up and say, "I bet you I can," then I feel challenged.
Right.
Now I got to show you another trick.
Well, they're waiting to do a throwdown with you, Ron.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So the recipe you're doing today, I think, is a little bit challenging for us because I'm thinking a lot of us might not have cooked elk. Has anybody here done an elk dish before?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So
Yeah.
out of 120, maybe a tenth of us have. So we need you to celebrate those that have, but also
Absolutely.
demystify kind of the
Absolutely.
whole elk experience.
That's right. And first of all, those of you who have cooked the elk, feel free to come on up here and fix this for us.
Yes, exactly. We'll sit down, sip our Cabernet, and it'll be perfect. Exactly. Exactly.
Listen, just like chicken tenderloin, beef tenderloin, turkey tenderloin, now we have elk tenderloin. It's the most tender part of that particular animal. It's delicious. We don't want to overcook it. We'll handle it with care. And you're going to have a wonderful experience in your mouth.
Okay.
It's like mouth entertainment.
Okay, good. We're ready for that.
Dancing on the tongue.
Dancing on it. So does that mean that, as you're saying that if we wanted to take the same recipe and perhaps do it with a pork tenderloin or do it with, another piece of meat that's
Right.
that just as tender and luscious,
Yes.
we could do that?
Yes. Even the cleaning process will be exactly the same. You'll remove the silver skin, save a little bit of the fat. Hi, guys. Save a little bit of the fat, and because you want that flavor, but you remove the tender skin so you can chew it. We don't want that problem.
Right.
But you can treat it exactly the same way.
Okay.
The one thing about elk, it cooks pretty fast, so you don't want to overcook it. A nice medium rare to medium. That's it. You don't want elk jerky.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Perfect.
So, what I did with this, you'll have it where we rubbed it down with a little Dijon mustard. All right? I wanted to give it that flavor. It may not be on your recipe, but that's one of my tricks with all my tenderloins.
Okay.
A little bit of Dijon mustard just to coat it, right? Then we'll have a little bit of salt all over. Peppercorn, cracked black pepper.
Great.
I season it all. Nothing like half seasoned elk.
You eat it on both sides, so you need to season it
That's
on both
exactly
sides.
right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And one of the things we can do, I'm going to take some fresh thyme, and I'm not even pulling it off the leaf. Now, yours I did, but for right now, I want to leave it right here on top. And I want to infuse this right into the elk. All right?
Okay.
We took some apple cured bacon, smoked. Add a little bit of smokiness to the elk. Take that, wrap it around. Wait a minute, do I have two pieces here? All right. I mean, I love bacon, but I want it to work.
Yes, indeed. So you're almost using the bacon the way some might use twine
Absolutely.
to try to keep it all in a uniform size and shape.
That's exactly right. And in addition to that, you're infusing more flavor into the elk.
Yeah, I was going to say bacon has a little more flavor than twine, right?
That's right.
Just a little.
And because elk is so low in fat, kind of like venison,
Right.
just a little, you want to make sure that it is not dry from the process. Okay? So this will give it just that little bit of fat
And flavor.
and flavor. I want to see Pam cook one day. I really do. I know you must have a recipe catalog.
Yeah, you're going to have to do. I do. I know. Yeah, I usually do a demo about once a week, and we do some
Really?
Oh yeah, we
So
do
I'm
some
disappointed
fun things.
Disney didn't tell me about
Well,
that.
I know because we're going to have to arrange it. Maybe we should cook together next year. What do you think?
Ooh.
I know.
How fun would that be?
I know.
All right.
I think most of you know that I worked with Shaq as his nutritionist and did all of his private meals for years. And it's one of the things that Chef Rome and I immediately had in common. And it's like, oh, yeah, we know what it's like to cook for the big guys.
And Shaq, as you know, has an appetite.
Yes, he does.
And even though he is well balanced in his approach, especially the older that he's gotten, he still has a wonderful appetite to fill that 7'1", 325-pound frame.
8.3% body fat. I mean, this is a lean, mean, at one time serious basketball playing machine. Yeah, when I was doing all of his meals on season, fed him 7,000 calories a day. Off season, 4,300 calories. I mean, it's just, but again, good food.
Absolutely.
And when we say good food, it's easy to do 7,000 calories in Big Macs, but doing 7,000, which he did, but doing 7,000 calories of elk tenderloin and egg white omelets, it's a whole nother story.
It's night and day, and it's still lean and healthy. He's
right.
not going to run up the court and pass out.
Right, right.
You know, it's funny, a little fact, just so you know, I saw his youngest son, or second youngest son, Sharif, is 15 years old now. When I was working for Shaquille, Sharif was 5. Okay, he was 5 years old. And when they would have play dates with some of his school mates, right? And at that age of 5, he was towering over his schoolmates. And I'm like, and the parents will, you know, if they didn't know, they were looking and said, why is this big kid playing with my child? He's going to hurt him.
Yes.
Right? But they were the same age. They were all 5.
Yes.
And so I saw him online maybe about a month ago. He's now 6'3" at the age of 15.
Wow.
And he's following his dad's footsteps.
Oh, yeah,
it's
he
amazing,
is.
man.
It
Yes,
is
amazing.
amazing.
Now, every year,
yes.
I struggle with this
well,
thing.
Yep.
Oh, that could be one reason.
That will help.
Now, doesn't this look good so far? Can you guys see that?
Fantastic. Well, what I love is that you've kind of trapped the time, if you will,
Yes.
right in there with the bacon wrapping, which
Absolutely.
is just awesome. This one is what we want?
Yes.
And how high?
We want it high. Because what we're going to do, we're going to get this started. Get a little bit of browning on it just so it sets. And then we're going to take it, put it back on this pan, the cookie sheet, and we're going to put it back in the oven. We're going to put it in the oven on 425 degrees for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right? Y'all with me so far?
We're with you.
Go Gators.
Yes. Or Knowles. Okay. I'm sorry. Did I say that? No.
Now, I'm going to start with just a little bit of butter.
Okay.
In fact, I have some infused butter here, right? Just a little bit of bacon fat, clarified butter, and truffle oil.
Wow.
It's not on your recipe, but I just wanted to treat myself to something different.
Wow.
So just a little. All right. We don't want a whole lot because the bacon, again, is going to make its own grease, right? It's going to render its own. So we'll put it in the pan, like so.
Nice.
We'll let that get going. And we're going to rotate that. All right, that's on high. Thank you. I love it every year. Disney always gives us the most fantastic help that money can buy. I'm just glad I don't have to pay for it.
Yes, exactly. Indeed. Chef Mike, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So while that's working, we have to do some accompaniments.
Okay.
And Pam?
We're on it. How high?
Medium high.
Okay. So we have an induction cooktop for those of you that are wondering why we're putting so much focus into this, which is really amazing, but it's very high tech, right?
I
It's
want one of these.
So do I.
I wonder if Cutco will sponsor me one of these stoves here. Anyway, all right. A little bit of oil, just a little. We're going to saute some baby bok choy.
Nice.
One of my favorite cabbages, right? It's sweet, it's young and tender, and I love it. And it's very versatile. That's cooking. You smell that?
Oh, I
Can you
do.
smell that a little bit, those of you up front?
Yeah.
Can you
This
smell
is
the
our
maple
sniff
in that?
zone here. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to add some maple later just to kick it up a little bit. Not trying to take Emerald's line.
So what's giving it that maple aromatic?
The bacon itself.
Oh, okay.
Right? Even with the apple, we have a little bit of maple added into it because we wanted that extra hint of something.
Okay.
Right?
Awesome.
And we'll make it a little bit different when we come back around to it.
Okay.
Add a little more to it. All right.
Gorgeous.
So you can see that. This sets my bacon in place. All right? As it's browning just a little bit, get that char.
Beautiful.
Set that here. Now, the bok choy has already been washed and drained. You know, you can always tell when you're not in your own kitchen. We're just going to slice these in half, right? And we'll do another one.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And these are baby bok choy?
Baby bok choy.
Nice.
Younger, tender,
Smaller,
wonderful.
right?
Smaller. You want that. You want that wonderful flavor. We're going to start with a little onion. We'll put a little bit more thyme.
Okay.
Thyme is my favorite herb. So I'm going to treat it as such today.
So if you've got the time, you add it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, we'll let that go on a little bit. All right.
Oh,
See, it's browning pretty quick. That's what I want. Smells so good.
It does.
We can almost stop right here. Now, one of the things that we did in the kitchen is we took toothpicks, right? Bamboo toothpicks. And we kind of poked them inside of the bacon to keep it in place. Or, as Pam alluded to earlier, you can use butcher's twine. Just kind of wrap it, tie it off, good to go, and that'll keep it in place. But we forgot that part.
Well, and again, because it's us, and we're cooking as if we were cooking for our family and friends. You can just tuck that little piece around, and
Exactly.
it works out fine.
Exactly. So we'll put the bok choy in the pan.
Kind of face down.
Face down. We'll turn it over in a moment. We want to get it going. We want a little bit of char on there. And we want the flavor of the onion to rise up into that.
Okay.
Y'all smell it now?
Oh, yeah.
Can't smell it over there? Yeah? You enjoying the smell? All right. So we'll bring that back. We'll go ahead and transfer this to our pan.
Wow.
And I'm going to add a little bit of this fat right onto it because, again, we want to make sure that it does not dry out.
Oh, I don't think we have any chance of it drying out, right? Look
Not
at
a
that.
drop.
No.
How does that look so far? Can you see that?
Gorgeous. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
All right. This one will go back to North Carolina with me. Don't ask. All right. We'll let that go. 10 minutes? 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're sauteing this here, right? I think I might have to add this into the Soul of Rome cookbook, or Carolina Soul.
Carolina Soul, I'm thinking.
All right. We'll let that go. As you see it, I like that. Nothing like the brightness of that color. We'll add a little bit more oil. We're not going to deep fry it. A little pepper. A little salt.
Nice.
Just a little bit
A
more.
little more.
Yep. Now, as that began to saute, one of the things we did, we paired this up with garlic mashed potatoes. Now, how many of you here have made mashed potatoes at home? That's what I was hoping for.
Yes.
So I don't have to show you how to make mashed potatoes today. Ta-da! All right. I wanted to do something a little different in terms of the presentation.
Okay.
Is it still hot? Yep. Hot enough.
You want it hot?
Nope.
No. Okay.
All right. As we allow our elk to cook, you'll be experiencing this wonderful taste momentarily. What we did, as you can see on your recipes, we've made a barbecue sauce from scratch. And I made it kind of a North Carolina style barbecue sauce. It's vinegar based, but what we did is we added balance to it. So I cleaned that elk tenderloin, as I mentioned earlier, right? And I took the silver skin off, some of the fat, and I put a little oil in the bottom of the pan, and I sauteed those flavors. to begin to extract the meat and the juices out of that, right? Add a little red wine and begin to cook that and reduce that down to give a concentrated flavor. I poured that then into the barbecue sauce to tie in the flavors, right? One of the other ingredients that we're going to see here is we decided yesterday to add maple to it, as we earlier mentioned. One, we added maple into the barbecue sauce to take the edge off of the elk. And the barbecue sauce is vinegary flavor, right? So, mashed potatoes. The way we want to set this up, we've added garlic into the mashed potatoes, mascarpone cheese. Guess what else we could have added? Could have added some cheese from Wisconsin. That Wisconsin cheddar, some white Wisconsin cheddar. Add whatever kind of cheese you want into it. Even Parmesan, it's wonderful in mashed potatoes. Sour cream and butter, and don't bring your diet though.
Don't bring your diet to the party.
Don't bring your diet to that party. You'll be sadly, mistaken on that. All right, so this is hot.
So these mashed potatoes, the way our recipe goes, you've boiled the potatoes in water.
Absolutely.
You've waited until they get fork tender. You drain them, return them to the stove, and because you want to dry them out just a little bit,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
And then you added to these butter and sour cream, but we could use mascarpone instead of the sour cream, or would we use it in addition?
I used both.
Both. Hello.
And I'm so sorry if I, ruined your diet plans today. I got kind of carried away, and I was going for the flavor, and so, excuse me.
Okay, okay.
All right. So we have our mashed potatoes here. Just going to kind of smear that a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
I love this entire rustic look. Now, don't go home and do this without treating the wood, okay? Don't just cut down the tree and then don't do that.
Yeah, a few little splinters.
Right. Don't do that. Your tongue will not appreciate it. All right. So, baby bok choy. We'll take that. We'll assemble it on the platter as well. I'm going to spread that out a little bit.
Nice, beautiful.
There's nothing like fresh sauteed vegetables anyway, right? And one of the things I always try to encourage people to do is use some things in a different way, all right? Most of the time they'll use this in Asian dishes, or they'll chop it up and saute it with bacon or something like that. That's wonderful. It's wonderful to do it that way. But try it with some different oils, right?
Right.
You'll get some wonderful flavors like walnut oil. Saute it in that, or coconut oil if you wanted something a little sweeter. Very unique and healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
nice. Little charred onions on top,
Yeah, little
too.
charred onions. Let's put that around the board. Now, as you noticed earlier, we had bacon that we used in the dish. We wrapped it. But I wanted to take it a step further. So we decided yesterday.
You had a lot of inspiration yesterday.
Yesterday I was in the Disney kitchen for the first time in a year. And what happens is we get these young students and their bright minds, and I see what the future holds for the culinary world. And it inspires me to kick my game up, because they're gaining on me.
Yeah.
And I said, I was talking to Chef Ricky, Ricky the Chef on Facebook, right? He came with me this year,
Yes,
Chef Tony.
it's been great. Yes.
He has been phenomenal. And he said, Rome, let's just go ahead and crisp that bacon up and coat it in some maple syrup and some cracked black pepper. I said, that'd be a wonderful garnish for this, and tie it all together. What do y'all think so far? Those of you who've had it,
that have had it, delicious. Yeah.
So we did that. So I took that bacon, You want to taste this?
I do.
This is
Is
phenomenal.
is that got a little maple syrup on it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Black pepper.
Yeah, I don't even want to put it on here. I
no.
want to just,
No, just sit it here.
yeah, just a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. You know, candy bacon isn't extremely new. You're getting it at some of your finer restaurants around the nation, but gee whiz, I mean,
Pretty
it's
fantastic.
so good. I thought I'd hold on to it. All right. So, now, has it been 10 minutes?
Pretty close.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we'll set this here for right now.
So just to kind of think it back through with that moment of inspiration from Chef Ricky, you took that pound of applewood smoked bacon, used half of it to wrap around the elk tenderloin.
That's right.
Then the other half you cut into small little pieces.
That's right.
Went ahead and sauteed it crispy, added a little maple syrup and a little black pepper.
Yes.
Let it kind of reduce down a bit.
Yes.
Almost became glazed.
Absolutely.
And now you're using that as a garnish.
And it's so good.
I know.
Have
Okay.
you guys have you had that? Have you tried that little piece? It's good, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
See?
Okay.
I told you. I wouldn't steer you wrong, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm one of those individuals. I like my steaks and wonderful cuts of meat more medium than anything. But for elk, medium rare, rare is fine, medium rare, or just medium at the most, but not more than that. It should melt in your mouth. Is that the effect that you're getting? It is? Good. I didn't want to look like a liar up here. But look at that. Can you see? Now that's still pretty rare.
Yeah.
So we'll put them back in for a little bit.
Even though you'll get some carryover cooking while
Right.
it's resting.
It's still not
Yeah,
quite
you,
enough.
You want it to have a little more firmness when
That's
you
right.
touch it than what
That's
it
exactly
did.
right.
Okay.
That initial round layer is the part that you want to make sure that it has a little bounce to it, not sink all the way through. All right. Now there's some people who want it to moo.
Right.
Or does elk moo?
I don't think elk moves.
What kind of sound does elk make? I don't. Huh? It
A
does
trumpet?
what? A trumpet sound?
Uh-huh.
Really? A trumpet sound in elk?
Definitely doesn't moo.
No, it plays music.
Yeah. There you go. See? It's perfect.
Thank you for that. See, I learned
Yes.
something today.
So while that's finishing off, how about some questions of anything that you've seen Chef Rome do? Yes.
see, again, with the whole yesterday and the inspiration, in my mind, it said garlic mashed potatoes because, and there is garlic in these mashed potatoes. Yeah, if you can taste it. Yeah, you can use, first of all, you can use garlic powder if you want just that smooth glaze, or if you want the texture of it, then you can mince your garlic, right? Or you can roast garlic, crush it, and then stir that into your mashed potatoes as well.
Would you add it when you're adding the butter and sour
Yes,
cream?
absolutely, absolutely. During that process, because by the time you finish, that garlic will have overtaken the mashed potato,
Right.
depending on how much you put in. We didn't want to overdo it. We wanted you to get a hint of it to kind of tie in and marry the flavors together.
Do you tend to heat your half and half a little bit just to a very nice warm before you add it to the mashed potatoes?
Yes, typically a double broiler, so it doesn't scorch. You don't want it to scorch. But if you put that in, if you put it in and you just direct heat, you risk that chance. But yeah, you want to heat it up a little bit. Never add anything cold to something hot. Don't do it. Right? So you want that little simmer on there, barely simmering, and then you can add it. You'll see this once you see the steam, it'll melt the butter, it'll melt anything else in there,
And
help
that
ease
might
that.
be the place to put the garlic too,
Absolutely.
is add that roasted garlic right into the cream and
Exactly.
the butter that's kind of heating up on
Exactly.
the stove. So if you were using raw, you could even saute the garlic a little bit, then add the cream, etc. But again, just not let it, again,
Yeah,
come to
exactly.
a rolling boil.
You don't want that. Are you a garlic lover, sir?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Can we bring him some more garlic? A couple of cloves?
That's fantastic. How about another
Garlic
question?
over here?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't well, see, for one thing though, we could have used that fat, right? Which we did a little. We added that on top so that that we can keep it from drying out. But yes, you can use a skillet. One of the things that you can do is you can use a grill. Start it that way and then finish it on the grill. You can do that if you want it smoky. You can do
Right.
that. Then you need a meat thermometer to test it, the temperature to make sure that's where you want it to be. But yes, to answer your question, the answer is yes.
So, and the question was, if you didn't hear, rather than sauteing it on the stove to get that nice brown and then transferring it to a sheet pan, could you just start it in an oven proof, like a cast iron skillet, and just transfer the whole thing?
That's right.
And if you did that, would you go ahead and baste it with a little bit of the cooking?
I would not only baste it, I would baste it a few times during the cooking process. Right? Even if you want to save some of the fat and then just put it in your little, what do you call that little suction squeezer thing?
Little
Like
squeezy thing.
Use for the kids. Don't use the one for the kids' nose. Don't do that one.
Oh.
Get the turkey baster.
Oh.
Don't get desperate.
Wow, now there's a visual.
Didn't mean to gross you out. Didn't mean to gross you out.
I thought I saw another question here. Yes.
After wrapping in bacon, our typical one came out naked. Are they just snacking on this in the back?
Oh, that's
Probably when they cut it, it probably was lost along the way. Yeah, but if you want some of the bacon, I will give you some from this one that I'm getting ready to cut up right now.
Yeah, and I think that would be. It's a great question because I would think that would be the kind of pain point, if you will, is slicing through the bacon and all of it. So I know you're going to show us that when you bring
Right.
it out, but I would imagine that's a little bit of a ginger
That's one of those
thing.
things. Exactly.
Right.
The more you let it rest, the better that the bacon will act in that process. But we want to make sure that you get it hot. So that's part of one of the things that can happen
Right.
under the circumstances. But if you're at home, you can undercook it enough so that when you reheat it, you still get that. Right?
Right. And really, you're using the bacon in large part almost as a vehicle for flavor
That's
and
right.
to hold, the elk tenderloin together
Together. That's
rather
right.
than just as the bacon to enjoy on its own. That's where the crispies come in.
But Emerald messed it up for everyone when he said pork fat rules, and we started talking about bacon, and he was pulling it out of his shirt and eating it. But so that's one of the reasons why we added it as a garnish on
Right.
your plate. Did you not get that either? Okay. Now I have some more.
You can make Bruce very happy, indeed, indeed.
All right.
Okay, it's coming. It's smoking anyway. How about the wine with it? Did it seem to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how's that look? Like that?
Oh, yeah,
All right. Now, it looks good, right?
it does.
I really want to take it back to the hotel and
I know.
have my joy.
Yeah, right there. So
Yeah,
if
stop.
you were doing a little thermometer to that and you wanted it to be kind of medium rare, what would you be looking for temperature-wise? 135?
These people over here.
I know they're troublemakers. I know.
Yeah, 135.
Okay.
About 135 was rare, medium rare,
Good.
or the perfect temperature.
Okay.
All right. Now, I'm going to layer a little bit of that maple over it. And you can actually do this in the before the cooking process as well, so that it can char a little bit more. Okay.
Before or during?
But before.
Okay.
Yep. And if you're basting, thank you, sir. If you're basting, it's not going to go away. That hint and that aroma of it is still going to enter into the elk. All right?
Okay.
So
How about the barbecue sauce?
that's going on last.
Okay.
All right. So slide this over a little bit. Now, let's pretend this is rested for
Okay.
about 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right? Just for pretend. Don't worry about it. We'll slice him. Good sharp knife, too, boy, I tell you. Look at that. It's two. One for me. Another one for me.
One for Pam.
Oh, did you want some?
I was hoping.
Oh, all right, okay. One for Pam. All right. We'll begin to plate this. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
Here's a piece that didn't have any on the on no bacon, man.
See, that was the one you got.
It was a setup. Conspiracy. Did you guys eat that bacon back there? You ate his bacon. Chef Ricky can't come with me to Disney no more. He's the bacon eater. All right. Now, bacon. All right. And I love this wonderful barbecue sauce.
Wow.
And edible flowers. Now, you all have these wonderful edible flowers on your plate. Eat it. We spent good money on these. Yeah, they're edible flowers. No, really. They'll cleanse your palate, actually. Yeah. How's that? Let me see.
That so reminds me of something my mom would have said. Honey, I spent good money on that. Eat it.
What do you think?
Is that beautiful? Yes,
Yeah?
it is. Wow.
I always enjoy Disney every year I come.
Ah, well, we enjoy you too. That's absolutely beautiful. And I think everybody got a taste. Some sans bacon, some with, but that's fantastic. I love all the things you've got going on there, from
Kinda
the
rustic,
crispiness,
yeah.
very rustic. And the board just kind of works. And, you know, boards are really cool in serving right now too.
I want to give this to this young man right here.
Do you? You worried about him?
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to make sure he gets some bacon.
Bless you, sir.
You
Yes.
got it. Hey, man, don't go home with my container. I'll find you.
Yes, a question. So hard to get sometimes the elk or things down here. He was asking if beef tenderloin would be done exactly the same way, or would you do anything different?
The beef tenderloin, you would do it. You can treat it exactly the same way. One of the things that I made in my cookbook was the herb crusted beef tenderloin, right? And all the entire process was close to the same thing, except I grilled that as opposed to, and I didn't wrap it with bacon. But you can. And most of the time when you go to high-end restaurants, they'll wrap tenderloin with bacon on the outside, and they'll put butcher's twine around it to keep it in place until after it's cooked, and then you slice it and enjoy. I would do the exact same thing. When I clean my beef tenderloin, I rub it down with Dijon mustard, and I create a crust from there. I'll use sea salt, kosher salt, cracked black pepper, fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, whatever you want. And I would press that onto my tenderloin, and then I'll wrap it up in saran wrap and put it in my refrigerator. No, the bacon will not overpower the beef tenderloin. And I don't think it overpowered the elk, did it? No.
No.
It's a good balance. And it gives that hint of smokiness, which is what I was going for with the pairing. My man.
Yeah, exactly. So fantastic. Another question. Yes, big voice, please. Could you grill the whole
Oh
cooking
my God,
show
he wants to
story?
hear the whole cooking show story. Oh my Jesus.
He kind of has a
So-
little post-traumatic syndrome over it, just
So-
want to say.
So what happened was this. It's 7 a.m. We're up in the canyons, and you know the Food Network has this wonderful sense of humor. And we come around this lake, and I see these 3 canoes sitting out in the middle of the lake. I'm thinking, self, that's odd. And myself says, yeah, you're right. And so we get around there, and they says, chefs, your first task is striped bass. But the striped bass is in the middle of the lake. And how you go out and get it is up to you. But your time starts now. That's in the middle of the lake, man. So the one young lady, she's from Malibu, and I kept calling her Barbie, right? She really, I didn't make that up. It's true. and so she grew up as a swimmer. So she hits the water first, and then then the other guy, he hits the water and he's right behind her. Now and then I jump in, and I sink like a rock. That's not funny. So what happened was I get the chef jacket off, but I have my shoes on. I have these army fatigue pants, but I had swimming trunks under there because I don't know what we're getting ready to do. I never got a chance to take those off. So meanwhile, immediately when you get in the water, it's 60 feet deep. Yeah, I said the same thing. So I dive in, and I'm thinking it's like the swimming pool here in Florida behind the house. I got this. No, there was weeds that had grown up from years and years and years. So, of course, the black guy is going to die first in this movie, right? so I'm kicking, and I'm trying to get my feet out of the weeds, and I'm like literally drowning. If you Google chef almost drowns, but wait till I leave.
Your picture comes up.
Yeah. So, fortunately, they had this diver standing by, but it seemed like he waited forever. So then they get me out, and then the producer says, he said, "You all right?" And I'm down here, and I'm coughing, and I'm trying to catch my breath, and he says to me, "You want to give it another try?" Man, what? No, I quit the show. So then so meanwhile, while all this is going on, the other two, they swim back. They canoe back. They pull their fish up out the water, they anchor, and they roll their way back in. And you have to run back up to the starting point and start to cook. Well, then he says to me, "Oh, you have a 20-minute penalty." What? Are you serious? So 20 minutes later, I'm running up this hill. I'm holding this heavy, what was it? Cooler with everything in it. The weight, right? The fish, my entire pantry. And I get back up there, and I still almost win the task.
See? Yes. Almost, but I'm telling you, he survived, and that was winning overall. It was quite
I'm so
amazing.
glad to be here to see you all.
Yes.
I promise.
I just want to say. How about a huge thank you to Chef Rome?
Cheers.
Fantastic. Cheers, my friend. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job. And Chef Rome will be here if you'd like to get your recipe signed, if you'd like to get a photo or have a question that you didn't get a chance to ask.
One thing I want to do,
Yes.
I want to bring up Ricky the chef.
He's right
He's
here.
my man from out
Yes,
of Chicago.
He is.
He came with me this year. He's done a phenomenal job. And tomorrow night, we have something planned for you all at the Party for the Senses that you will not believe.
Yeah. How many of you are coming to the Party
Yes,
for the
you, sir.
Senses? Okay, good number. Fantastic.
You're coming?
You going to tell us what it is?
Yeah. So in my cookbook, Eat Like a Celebrity, my mother had this, my mom's name was Catherine, and it's Catherine's oven smothered catfish. And we're going to serve it over a pepper jack fried grit.
Wow.
I know. So we smother it down in its own gravy and juices and sweet onion, and we are going to have a ball. And I hope that you all who weren't planning on coming show up. Come see me. Cheers.
Fantastic. Chef Rome, absolutely so much fun. So again, he'll be up here if you'd like to see him personally. I'm going to whisk around the corner and whisk you that will be attending our beverage seminars to Spain. Actually, we have Bodegas Muriel, some beautiful Spanish wines, and we'll be tasting those. And then at 2:15, I'll be right over at the Spotlight stage. I'm introducing you to -8 vinegars. Vinegars that have just changed the whole experience with Top Chefs, with vinegars made from ice wine. They've got a new one that's made from beer. It's really unbelievable. So you'll be hearing from Rachel and Kate, and then we'll be right back up here at 3 o'clock doing another incredible demo. So we'll see you then. Another huge thank you, Chef Rome. Woohoo!